Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we really unpack the most compelling insights from all the sources you share. Today, it's quite a mix. We're navigating some high stakes global stuff, cutting edge tech, and even, some serious sports drama. Our mission, like always, is to cut through all that noise, pull out the important bits, and connect the dots for you so you can get up to speed fast on what's buzzing. And you'll probably notice a theme today. This idea of uncommon strategies. We're seeing it everywhere, really. Geopolitics, tech, sports.
Indeed. It's quite a tapestry we've got. Geopolitical tensions that, frankly, could shake global markets. Then there's these leaps in autonomous cars. And, yeah, historic moment in basketball, too. We'll dig into not just what's happening, but, why it matters, what it all means.
Okay, let's tackle that big one first. We've seen so many reports flying around online. Iran, the Strait of Hormuz. It's such a critical choke point, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's undoubtedly one of the most vital shipping lanes in the world. And, yeah, reports do confirm it. Iran's parliament voted to close it.
Voted to close it. Wow.
Yeah. And this waterway, it handles roughly 20% of the world's oil.
20%.
That's somewhere around 20, maybe 21 million barrels a day.
Wow.
The sheer volume. Any disruption there is a global headache.
So what are the immediate ripple effects if this actually happened? I mean, beyond the headlines, what does it mean for, for us, for the economy?
Well, the economic fallout would be stark, pretty immediate. If they successfully closed it, even for a short time, you could see oil prices spike, maybe 30, even 50%, almost overnight.
50%. Whew.
Yeah, and that translates quickly. U.S. gas prices could shoot up to maybe $5, $6, $7 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, there was that IMF analysis back in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
It suggested energy shocks add like 0.5% to 1% to inflation for every $10 jump per barrel.
Right.
So, yeah, a spike like this would hit your wallet hard and fast. Transportation, goods, everything. A real jolt to the global economy.
And this vote, it didn't just come out of nowhere, right? There's a bigger picture here. Seems like part of it, a very tense standoff.
That's right. It's not in a vacuum. The context seems to be these recent U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites. Some sources called it Operation Midnight Hammer.
Right. I saw that mentioned.
Yeah. Pentagon briefings confirmed, I think it was June 22nd, 75 precision weapons used, including those big MOP bombs.
MOP bombs.
Massive ordnance penetrators designed to, take out hardened underground bunkers.
Okay.
Involve something like 125 aircraft. B-2 bombers, too. It shows a certain continuity in U.S. policy. Some officials were saying Iran underestimated U.S. resolve.
Mm-hmm.
There were even reports from Secretary Hegseth about planes flying like undetected from Missouri to hit these sites. It was definitely an escalation, a strong message.
But hang on, there's also this idea, isn't there, that the parliamentary vote might be more strategic? Like maybe not a definite plan to close the strait? Is that even sustainable for Iran?
That's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
Yes. While the vote is, a serious political signal, the strait is still open.
Okay.
The final call, the actual decision, rests with Iran's Supreme National Security Council, not the parliament directly.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, it could be a strategic bluff. Or maybe, as some historical context suggests, like from Gulf News, it's political posturing, trying to get leverage. They tried closing it before, back in the 80s, the tanker war. Didn't really work because of the U.S. Navy.
Right.
But, and this is important, Iran's current arsenal, their anti-ship missiles, fast attack boats. It's way more robust now. So the threat maybe has more teeth this time.
So it's a gamble?
It's a high-stakes gamble, yeah.
Yeah.
An uncommon strategy, maybe,
Right.
using perceived weakness to create a deterrent.
Okay, this brings up their allies. What about China? They rely so heavily on oil from that region. How does this affect them? Even if it's just a bluff. Seems risky for Iran's relationship with Beijing.
It really does raise that question. China gets, what, about half its oil from the region?
Half. Why?
Yeah, so a closure would be devastating for them. But it's complicated. On one hand, you think Iran wouldn't cripple an ally. On the other, there's that huge $400 billion trade deal from 2021. That secures Iranian oil for China. It's a lifeline for Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And, while China often talks about non-intervention, some analysis suggests maybe that's overstated. They've had a naval presence near there, Gulf of Aden, since like 2008. Their economic interests, their strategic interests, they're deep. They'd be heavily invested in keeping that strait open, maybe even leaning on Iran. It gets very intricate.
And it gets even more intense, doesn't it? Beyond the economic threats, we're seeing reports about direct threats, these sleeper cells inside the U.S. What's the story there?
Yeah, that's a particularly unsettling part of this. NBC reported it, and other intelligence sources too. Threats from Iran to activate cells inside the U.S. if they're attacked further. Now, it's not entirely unprecedented. Think about groups like Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran, the DEA's Project Cassandra, remember that? Documented Hezbollah making like $1 billion a year from drug trafficking into the U.S. Operatives were convicted back in 2019.
Right, I remember hearing about that.
So there's a history there.
Yeah.
And then, there's a CBP report last year raising concerns, just concerns, mind you, about unvetted migrants potentially providing a base for such threats.
Okay, so concerns, not confirmed activations.
Exactly. But it paints a picture of a different kind of threat, asymmetric, extending way beyond the Gulf.
Man, it's incredibly tense. And, it's strange, but sometimes amidst all this really heavy stuff, you find these human reactions, even humor. I saw some commentary trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah, it's almost like a coping mechanism, isn't it? There was that satirical video doing the round, sort of poking fun at the shifting narratives, the calls for peace, how fast it all changes.
Uh-huh.
And then there was that comparison of a B-1 bomber's payload to like a wife's giant Costco haul.
Huh. I think I saw that one.
It's funny, right? But it actually makes you visualize the sheer scale of the military power involved.
Yeah.
It makes a serious point, but in a really memorable, kind of relatable way. Human nature, I guess.
So while we're watching global stability teeter on energy and military moves, we're also seeing maybe an energy or at least a transportation revolution brewing. Speaking of bold moves, let's shift gears from geopolitics to, well, our cities. Elon Musk just did something big in Austin, right?
Yeah, perfect transition. Tesla's robotaxi service. It officially launched in Austin. Customers are paying a flat fee, $4.20 per ride.
$4.20.
Yep. It's a pretty significant step for autonomous driving tech. Builds on their full self-driving system, FSD, a very public push.
Okay, the $4.20 fee. That sounds, well, it sounds very Elon Musk. Playful, cheeky. Is there more to it?
Oh, it's classic Musk, no doubt about it. Widely seen as, a bit of a humorous nod. And the timing. It launched just days before his birthday, June 28th.
Oh.
So yeah, it's definitely a calculated publicity move, grabs headlines, maybe tries to overshadow some of the skepticism out there, especially from competitors like Waymo. They boast that really impressive 99.9% safety rate in their Phoenix trial. So this is Tesla making noise, an uncommon launch strategy for sure.
But autonomous driving, I mean, it still faces a lot of skepticism, right? Big safety concerns. And you mentioned Waymo's safety rate. What about Tesla's and this whole camera versus LiDAR thing? Why is Tesla sticking to cameras when others use LiDAR?
Oh, absolutely. The concerns are very real. Tesla's FSD system, well, they claim about 90% reliability, but that's often in controlled settings. AAA studies, like one in 2023, they still emphasize it needs human oversight, ready to take over.
Right.
And safety, 2024 NHTSA data showed, I think, 273 incidents linked to FSD.
Oof.
As for cameras versus LiDAR, that's the big debate. LiDAR uses lasers, creates these super detailed 3D maps, works well in different light, different weather. Tesla bets heavily on cameras and computer vision. Musk thinks that's the path to true autonomy without LiDAR's cost and complexity.
But the criticism.
The criticism, that's highlighted in like an AE study this year, is that cameras can struggle. Bad weather, heavy rain, fog, glare, low light. It raises questions about reliability in all conditions. And actually, Texas just passed new legislation requiring permits for autonomous vehicles now, prompted by these safety concerns. Needs more oversight.
So despite all that debate, the regulations, it's still a really bold push. It could be hugely disruptive. What's the bigger picture here beyond just, competing with Uber?
It is a bold move. The disruption potential is immense. I mean, we're talking about potentially reshaping the, $100 billion rideshare industry.
Mm-hmm.
Some analyses, like Next Big Futures, suggest autonomous ride-hailing could cut costs by maybe 30%.
30% cheaper rides.
Potentially. But think bigger. Urban planning. Maybe fewer people owning cars, less need for parking, changes to public transport. Then there's the ethical stuff, accident liability, and the last mile problem. How do these things handle really complex, unpredictable human stuff? So early users might say it's smooth, but that camera system reliance, still the big question mark for long-term reliability. It's not just taxis, it's potentially reshaping cities.
Okay, from global markets, futuristic tech. Let's pivot to pure adrenaline. Sports. NBA Finals, Game 7. Just saying that gives me chills.
Oh, it absolutely does. Tonight, Indiana Pacers versus Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 7. It's so rare. First one since 2016, only the 19th time since like 1951.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Statistically, ESPN says it's a true 50-50 toss-up, which is why it's so exciting. These games are just legendary. High stakes, heroes, totally unpredictable.
What's made this series so good that it's gone all the way? Seems like maybe another one of those uncommon strategies we talked about.
You absolutely nailed it. A huge factor. The Pacers' use of the full-court press.
Aggressively. The press. You don't see that much in the NBA anymore.
Not really, not for long stretches.
Yeah.
It's super demanding. Risky if you don't execute it perfectly. But there was a sports analytics study last year.
Mm-hmm.
It showed a good press can boost turnovers by maybe 12% against teams not used to it.
Uh-huh.
And it definitely seems to have bothered the Thunder. Despite their amazing regular season record, 68-14, I think, this press has forced them out of their rhythm, disrupted their offense, pushed them to the absolute limit.
And the buzz around Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers. Potential finals MVP, especially with that injury talk. How big is that for tonight?
Oh, his performance could be legacy-defining. Seriously. He's battling that calf injury. ESPN confirmed it's been a real issue.
Yeah.
But if he has a huge game tonight, it draws comparisons to LeBron in 2016. Remember his Game 7 triple-double?
Oh, of course.
Exactly. For Halliburton to play at that level hurt in a winner-take-all Game 7, that elevates him. It shows incredible mental toughness, resilience under pressure, uncommon resilience. Just his ability to maybe overcome that physical limitation and lead his team tonight. That's noteworthy, win or lose.
Absolutely. Okay, finally, after all that heavy news, we found this funny bit of internet commentary. A humorous take on human behavior, but with a surprising psychology link.
Yeah, it was this video. Someone betting $100 that the operator on a gambling addiction hotline would be female.
Okay.
And the punchline is the operator turns out to be male and the person loses the bet. It's funny, right? But it plays on that stereotype that female voices are somehow more soothing in a crisis. And interestingly, that's not just like a random idea. There's actual psychological research on voice tone. Certain vocal qualities are perceived as more calming or empathetic.
Huh, really?
Yeah. So the humor kind of lands because it touches on this unconscious bias, these expectations we have, playing out in funny ways.
What a journey today. Geopolitics, tech's cutting edge, NBA drama, always something new to unpack, and yeah, those surprising connections.
It really does show how interconnected everything is, doesn't it? Stuff happens in one area and boom, ripples everywhere. Oil prices, how we get around, even strategies in sports. And underneath it all, often these uncommon strategies popping up, challenging how things are usually done.
So as you think about today's deep dive, here's something to consider. In this world just flooded with information, constant change, where are you seeing surprising connections? What uncommon strategies are catching your eye, whether it's on the world stage, in new technology, or maybe even just in your own daily life? Where is the next disruption coming from? What little shifts are signaling big changes ahead?